I don't know if anyone's here, but I guess we can get rolling.
Sounds good to me, dude. Let's rock this party.
All right. So first on the docket was the iMessage bug, and this has been killing me for I can't even tell you how long. And I know you're an Android user, so it hasn't affected you, but
Not one bit.
not a bit. You've never even had to fret about it once in your life. But
Nope.
I don't know if you saw it. That's scary. I just recently, I bought a Moto G back in
Yeah.
February. Did you see that?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, yeah, I did a review on it, but I ended up selling it just because Android wasn't for me at the time. But
Gotcha.
in other words, when I have an iPhone 5 and I had an iPhone 5 at the time, and so I bought the Moto G and I turned iMessage off because that's Apple's big thing is iMessage will stay on and people will not be able to text you if you leave iMessage on when you get rid of the iPhone. So before I took the SIM card out, I turned off iMessage and I was texting people for hours before I even switched phones. Like I made sure to leave a huge gap. Then I
Right.
finally turned this off, took out the SIM card, put it in the Moto G, and I didn't get anyone's text messages for like 4 hours. And then off and on, like 3 days, people would say, "Hey, I just texted you." They would call me because they needed something, and I didn't reply. And what it is Apple's iMessage is taking your phone number, and if they've texted you previously, their phone just remembers that it was an iPhone at one time, and then when they go to text you, if they don't sit there and let it load, it won't take it off of the iPhone. So they send an iMessage, and then it just gets stuck in purgatory, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I was how it was described to me. If I could
Yeah.
speak today, that would be fantastic. But that's how it was described to me. And really, it sounds hilarious to me, but at the same time, it can also be extremely aggravating.
Yeah, and
You know,
that was one of
you
the
go to
yeah,
send a message, and all of a sudden, the thing just kind of disappears into nothingness, like it was like it never happened to begin with.
right.
And it's just like dumb.
Yeah, and so that was the reason that one of the reasons I got rid of the Moto G because until they fixed it, mean, I have no reason or use or ability to use an Android phone because I'm going to lose text messages. Someone's going to need to get a hold of me, and they're not going to be able to. So
Right.
until Apple fixes that, and at least I'm holding out hope for that in 7.1.2 maybe or iOS 8, whatever
Right.
they do.
Whichever comes
But
first.
yeah, whichever exactly. So I guess I'll move on. Uh, the LG G3. I guess talking about my next phone.
There
Uh,
you go.
is one of possibly my next phones. And I want to pull it up because I just want to look at it.
It's a
Uh,
good looking phone.
it's really good looking. I only like the black one though, and I think the gold is ugly. Now I can't
Yeah, I
tell.
was looking at it, and the gold is just a bit over the top. You know,
I feel
it's
like
one of those things where it's like I almost want to call it the Black Dynamite version.
yeah,
You
because
know,
like honestly, the gold phones, gold Galaxy S5, gold iPhone, they all look like the Galaxy S5 gold version just looks like a straight up Band-Aid. That's what it looks like. I can't get past it.
yeah, it
But
does.
yeah, and so they redid the volume and they redid everything, and I just like it a lot better. Uh, but the specs are insane. I can't. It's like 3 gigs of RAM, a 2K resolution on the screen, which is beyond usability, and I think like a 13
Yeah,
megapixel
pretty much.
camera. So everything's over the top. But if you put those specs on a phone with stock Android,
It,
then
it's
it's
Quad
a big call.
HD, 2560 by 1440. It, still saying, make it 5 years, at least make it crash. You know, so
Right, right.
it's just it's out of this world.
It's crazy, and I feel bad, but I'm still hung up on custom ROMs that carriers make, like TouchWiz. I can't do TouchWiz. I know you're a Samsung guy, but I can't do it. I don't know if you're rooted or what,
No,
but I
I'm
just
not. I'm not rooted at all. Right. I mean, because I just got this new Note 3
right.
today, as a matter of fact. But I've been running S4 Note 3. stuff like that. But I've been running like Nova Launcher and Zine and stuff like that just because I hate TouchWiz with a burning passion.
It gets better. It's getting better, and I feel the same way about HTC. And I don't know if it's Sense or Blink Feed. I can't keep all that crap straight, but the HTC One M8 is just like the G3. I would buy that phone today, but it's got that crap on it.
Yeah, absolutely. For all hardware developers out there, I guarantee you're not watching this, but if you ever happen to, stop with the bloatware, the stupid TouchWiz crap. It needs to die in a fire.
And the thing is, they're apparently not realizing. I'm taking a summer class, and it's economics, and so I see the entire world in terms of a supply and demand curve and elasticities and all this stuff. That's all I see everywhere I go, because that's the only class that I'm worrying about right now. And I'm sitting here looking at this. I've got a YouTube screen over here, and I see a GS3, a One M8, and I'm just looking at this crap bloatware, like you said. And I can't help but think how much money they pay software developers to make that garbage.
Yeah, only for people like you and me to bitch about it and then eventually get rid of it.
Yes, and then all we do is ROM over it, and it's gone. That's all that happens.
That's all that happens.
They would save money if they put stock Android, because Android, as I understand it, is open source. Maybe not open source, but it's definitely free for OEMs.
It's about as close as you're going to get on a big level, you know.
Exactly, because you just have to meet Google standards. You basically just don't make a crap. Don't put a turd in a box and send it off as a phone. From what I understand, that's the level of standards that you just have to meet just to please Google, because Google doesn't want their name on something that's a piece of garbage.
Exactly right. But at the same time, you know, you really can't do a whole lot about that, because if you do make it open source, people are going to do with it as they please. I mean, Facebook's official app is from an open source set of it's open source software. The problem is half the time it's completely unusable because, well, people are always screwing with it. So I don't know what else to do.
And it used to be a web app. And I personally like that better
because
then all the updates were pushed from a server. But now it's an app, and they're hiding the most recent. That's my favorite thing. But no, I mean, Facebook.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll be honest. I'm just about. Ooh, excuse me. Just about finished with it myself, because if it's not a stupid game that someone wants me to play, it's just some other political bullcrap drama, or some new update that it's just like, all right, people, shut up, go away.
Either the political rants from the people in high school that you never really talk to, it's sponsored ads on the side, or even the sponsored posts that you don't care about, but Facebook seems to think that you do.
Exactly. And here's my thing. I'm not going to say that Facebook has gone full MySpace on this, because they haven't.
Right.
It's a lot cleaner than MySpace ever was. What I am going to say is that they're one update away from basically being the new MySpace. I mean, right before I left MySpace, they integrated MySpace karaoke. And it's just like, I'm not kidding. It was hilarious. You might have. You might have, actually, now that I think about it. But, yeah, it was pretty sad.
I'm trying to pull up Twitter. I don't know if you use Twitter on the computer ever.
All the time.
Okay, have you seen... Oh my gosh, it switched me to it already. I did not...
Oh, the new update?
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I did. Gosh, I didn't want it.
It was inevitable.
This garbage right here, it's got the header. That looks like Facebook. This image, all of pictures, and then my information's on the side, and then the tweets in one inline. This looks exactly like Facebook.
Yep. And that is really, really depressing, because I like Twitter more than I did Facebook.
Yep, that's
So,
why I just stay on my phone, and then I don't have to be reminded that that exists.
yeah.
Better ignorance is bliss, as everyone in history always says.
Yep.
One of the most cliche phrases of all time.
Pretty close.
So, Microsoft just tossed out the Surface Pro 3, and after seeing the Surface Pro, the Surface Pro 2, I fully expected the Surface Pro 3 to just be a piece of garbage, an incremental upgrade that Microsoft thought was great, but no one else did, and that's typically Windows 8, Windows Vista. That's what happens with a lot of stuff that they put out. They think it's great, but no one else does.
Yeah.
It, it turned out to be amazing in terms of
Hmm.
specs, like one of the best, one of the craziest PCs ever. Granted, if you want the kind of PC that I would prefer, if I had to just pick based on specs and not price, it's like $2,200.
Yeah.
Whereas I got the same specs and this laptop right here for like 800.
The thing that trips me out the most about the Pro 3 is the fact that you can legitimately use the damn thing as a desktop computer, a laptop, an actual work computer, and then whatever else you want to do with it. It
Yeah.
really is that powerful. It's just, it kind of, I don't know, it's like they kind of got away from what their original intent was.
The original
You know?
intent was mobility, and they're
Yeah.
still trying to get at that, but I'm not convinced, and I don't think I ever will be, because I have a MacBook for work, and I have this computer, which is my personal PC, and then I have uh, I have an Nexus 7 tablet, but I generally separate the two. If I want a big, powerful computer, I use my laptop, whether it's on my desk or my lap. It works wherever I need it because the screen stands up. Well, if I
Exactly.
want the tablet, I can't put this tablet on my desk. I gotta hold it in my lap or whatever. They're trying to convince me that just by putting this plastic keyboard cover on the Surface Pro 3, I can have a laptop, and I'm still not convinced because they fixed the dome kickstand on the back to where it holds in place,
Yep.
but I still feel like you'd have to fidget with it as opposed to just opening a laptop. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Uh,
wrong. I've never touched one.
Here's my thing. Um, the only tablet that I've ever bought, where is the damn thing? It's over here somewhere. Here it is. The only tablet I ever bought was this Samsung Galaxy Tab 2 7-inch with the obligatory Casey sticker on the back. Um, I used to work for them. At any rate, the only reason that's the only tablet I've ever bought is because, I'll be honest with you, since I had an Android phone or an Android anything else, it made it kind of redundant. You know, I don't need a giant Android device when everything I've got is on my phone, and now my phone is almost the size of my tablet, and it's just it. I'll be honest with you, I don't like tablets much. The idea is cool,
No.
but the Pro 3, well, my bad, the Surface line in general is just kind of. They're trying to not be a laptop, but ultimately they end up being a laptop.
Because yeah, it's like it's kind of a parabolic thing. And I'm trying to sidebar. I think I broke the broadcast as to where it doesn't switch between our cameras. I don't know what I did.
Um, I don't know.
Oh, whatever. I can just manually switch it, I guess. But
Chad, try the control room.
it's like they. Let's see, control room. It's just giving me mute and volume options.
Hmm. Because I can't do anything from Toolbox. So
All right, well, I can just manually
that
do
works.
it, I think. But what I was going to say about Surface is it's like they put it out, the original Surface, before they even made a Pro, to say this is not a laptop, this is different, and here you can stick this magnetic keyboard on there and pretend it's an iPad basically. And they were like, okay, this is different, and we want you to be mobile, and this is why. This is what we built Windows 8 for, which it basically was. Surface was for
Yeah.
Windows 8, and I mean, it was the flagship. And so
Yep. That's
basically,
exactly right.
they've backtracked over the course of a year, or it's almost 2 years, over the course of a year or two, where they've gone from this is not a laptop to, hey, look, you can still use it as a laptop. You should buy it if you want one.
Yeah, it just. I really think they got it wrong, big time. If they wanted to make a tablet, cool. If they wanted to make a Windows 8 tablet, cool. But they should have stuck with a tablet, something you could take around everywhere. They keep it in your hand instead of something you've got to have a kickstand if you ever want to use the keyboard, which, by the way, is a piece of junk and has no feedback whatsoever. It is the absolute worst keyboard I've ever. Does it?
Yeah. The Surface one is what you're talking about, and it is crap because it's one dimension. But
it is.
The Surface Pro, from what I understand, at least the Pro 3 comes with like a chiclet. It's got chiclet keys.
Does it really? Huh.
Yeah,
that's news to me.
It's like the Surface Pro cover. I don't
know. That's funny.
I fixed the camera, by the way.
Oh, cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna have to. Maybe I'm just gonna have to go to my local Amazon showroom and give it a shot, because I haven't used one in probably 6 weeks. So
they're gonna have to provide an armchair for me to sit down and try and use it on my lap, because I'm not looking out anywhere with the Pro in my hand without knowing that I could use it on my lap. It's not happening.
Yeah. All right. So what we got next, man?
The next thing I wrote down was the sale of Beats to Apple, which actually everybody knew about it like 2 weeks ago, but it just I have a text on my phone here.
It just completed, didn't it?
Yeah, it just went final 8 minutes ago, according to ESPN. And everybody's like, oh, why are we talking about it on the technology show? The sale of the no, wait. I don't know when it went final. It was yesterday, maybe, actually.
I remember reading something about it earlier today. I was on my way to one of the local malls, and CNN put up a big tweet about it, or a big notification, anyway.
Yeah, it was. I think it went final today. Yesterday, it's really ambiguous, but the point of it is, Apple's going to do something huge, in my opinion. I don't know what they're planning, and I hate sounding like someone who's in love with Apple, but you spend $3 on something, you got something up your sleeve, if you ask me. And
yeah, absolutely.
It could just be the thing I read today that's saying that they're just trying to get Beats' market share of streaming music. But if you look at the numbers, Beats Music subscribers is like in the 200,000s, and Spotify's at like 10 millions, I think.
Yeah.
So,
I don't see any reason for Apple to buy Beats just for Beats Music.
No.
I mean, it's just like you said, Spotify's market share compared to Beats Music's market share. It's like, why are you even comparing the two? It's just stupid.
Yeah. It's got to be something else in terms of hardware, or maybe they just think that bringing someone like Dre and Jimmy Iovine on board can take iTunes Radio, which I'm not a fan of, can take that to new heights and maybe get more paid subscribers. I don't know, but there's just Apple's finally realized that people don't download music anymore. I have not downloaded music legally or any other means. I've not downloaded music in months or a year.
Yeah.
Just because, granted, on my phone I can't listen to any Spotify song I want, but I can shuffle any artist I want, and that's more than
exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I can't remember the last time I used iTunes. To be perfectly frank with you.
Oh yeah.
It's just, I think what Apple's trying to do is they're trying to regain some of their lost glory now that the iPod is no longer the sole interface between
Of
music and computer and user, you know.
Yeah.
And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring back some luster to it by adding this overpriced, overrated headphone maker
Yeah.
to their name. And I don't know, question mark, profit?
I
You
guess.
see what I'm getting at?
I think, yeah, exactly. And I don't even think they know where the money's going to come from, but I think they believe, yeah, exactly. I think they believe they're going to make money off of it, but they're not going to make any money off Beats music. That's for sure. That's a certainty.
No.
They're not going to make any money off that. They're going to make like pocket change off of the sale of headphones, but pretty much everyone who's got their parents to buy them Beats headphones is already wearing them. They might be wearing them when they watch this video, if anybody does watch this video. But they're not. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. But one of the funny things that I found with that was the fact that I don't know if you saw this. They announced the titles, like the corporate titles of Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre, and so.
I didn't see that. No.
Did you? You did. Oh, you didn't. They announced it, and I thought it was hilarious that Tim Cook is CEO, so and so is Chief Operating Officer. Dr. Dre is Dre at Apple.
Really?
Immediate. Yes, I'm 100% serious. That's like on his business card. It's gonna say Dr. Dre, or maybe his real name, Dre at Apple. And I'm pretty sure Jimmy Iovine is also
Jimmy
going
at
to be.
Apple.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, just like so uncreative. If you're going to spend that much money buying a company that is already uncreative as hell and it makes its millions of dollars off of selling extremely overpriced headphones, which, by the way, these Skull Candy headphones that I got right here, they're already overpriced. I paid $50 for these things.
Yeah.
That said, I'm sure they could probably outperform half the Beats models that they got out. It's one overpriced company buying another overpriced company.
Yep,
and it's
more overpriced garbage. Well,
yes, it does.
But then again, look what I own. So they got me. At least.
I got you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got you, man. I'll be honest with you. I've owned 2 iPods, I think. 2, 3. Yeah, 3 iPods. I had an iPod 5th Gen Video. I had an iPod Shuffle 2nd Gen. And had an iPod Shuffle 3rd Gen. I have not bought the 4th yet. And I'm not going to. As much as I like to, and as much as I think clipping my music player onto my shirt is a cool idea when I'm riding my motorcycle, I can't do it.
No. I do have a Shuffle, and I bought that to run with. I clip it on my shirt or whatever. And I have a 30 gig iPod Classic. Maybe it was an iPod Video. I'm not sure what they called it that week. But I think it had so many names. It was the iPod, then it was the iPod. I think then it was the iPod Video, and then it was the iPod Classic. But
yep.
Yeah. So I don't think they have me as stronghold as they did 3 years ago. But
absolutely they don't. Absolutely they don't.
No.
Especially when your average cell phone can hold just about half of what the average person would want to hold on their cell phone if they got it downloaded. But at the same time, as we mentioned earlier, nobody downloads music anymore.
Nobody.
It's all streamed.
Got the Spotify
Nobody.
app. That takes like I think 50 megabytes to have the Spotify app on my phone compared to all the music that I would listen to with Spotify being like 40 gigs.
Exactly. And the coolest part is that it doesn't use all that much data. It really doesn't.
I haven't like watched the meter basically, so to speak, when I do it. But a lot of times I'm on Wi-Fi anyway. But I use it when I drive sometimes.
Right. I'm usually on Pandora when I'm driving down the highway. So
Yeah, one or the other all the time.
right. Although I'll be perfectly frank, my data package, I've got 10 gigs of shared data.
Wow.
Yeah. But that said, I use probably 8 or 9 of those in a month.
That is a lot. It's like
Yes,
Netflix.
it is. That's how much Pandora that I'm using.
Wow.
Pretty crazy, I know. I'll do the final totals for you and let you know.
I guess the next stop on this train is WWDC, and that.
Yes, sir.
What is the date? Date
It's
of
coming up here very soon.
like June. I want to say June 2nd. Uh,
Yeah, June 2nd,
and that
according to
would be.
macrumors.com.
Is that next Monday? That is next Monday.
Uh-huh.
So that's. I think we'll be talking about that next week when we do this little show. But I found this article on The Verge about what to expect, and I think it should be
Yeah, they
updated.
published it like 6 hours ago,
Yes,
I
and
think.
I think they need to update it because yesterday it came out that Apple was going. Yesterday, the day before, it came out that WWDC was going to debut something huge, and then like an hour after that, it came out that something huge was a smart home system. So anything from your phone being hooked up to your ceiling fan, your lights, your garage door, all that stuff. And then
Into
it
your
came out to
thermostat.
yeah, and then it came out today that that's a pipe dream. Apple's never thought of doing that, and that when somebody made that rumor, they were actually just talking about Apple allowing smart home accessories to be certified by Apple. See how I don't know, well, you don't have an iPhone, but if you plug an unauthorized accessory into your iPhone, it'll tell you that it's not like built for iPhone or whatever. So I think they're just gonna allow things like Belkin or the Wemo, the remote. You can have remote outlets that turn on and off.
Right.
Uh, I think it's just gonna be that type of thing. Just make it easier for
Stuff
people
like
to use those.
the Nest thermometer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think I don't. The Verge thinks that's gonna happen according to this article, but I don't think that's gonna happen. One thing that I at least hope they come out and show off and talk about is iOS 8, and uh, just iOS 7 has so many subtle bugs with it. It's gotten better to where text doesn't fly off the side of the screen unexpectedly. I mean, it was unreal. It was like
Yeah.
nobody looked at it when they put it out.
That sounds kind of like OS 9 for
Oh,
like the
I
old
never had
Mac
that.
OS 9.
Well, it wasn't
It
that
it
bad.
would it was whoa. It did its job. Don't get me wrong, but every once
Right.
in a while it would forget what it was. It would forget what it was doing.
Yep.
Um, it was just a big, stupid, buggy mess.
And
And if you
that's
could put up with it, then cool. But
right.
otherwise, it's just like iOS 7.
And that's where iOS 7 sits right now. Is it's just sitting with a bunch of bugs in my phone, literally, and hopefully iOS 8 fixes a lot of stuff like the Messages app not deleting its messages. Every time someone sends you a picture, it stays on your phone. And I had to use a third-party Windows app to delete it all, and that was a nightmare. But
Oh
it
crap!
was, it was stealing like a gigabyte of my phone, and I'm not gonna have that because I got apps down. I
Wow.
have an app addiction, so yeah.
Hey
I have like I
man, I
have
got
like a
some
hundred.
apps.
Yeah, I have like 150 apps, so they're not that big. But when you
Holy cow!
yeah, it's insane. I'll show you.
150 apps?
Granted,
Jesus, dude.
I don't use them all day to day, but I've got this. Oh, focus. That's not gonna work.
I don't think
Yeah,
that's gonna
can I
work
see
there,
it?
bud.
All right. Well,
I can see
basically,
it.
I've got like 2 pages of just apps, and then I have a full page of like the iOS folders, and they're almost full on all of them. So it's a crazy amount of apps, and I feel like I use them all, but I like to tell myself that, I guess. Let's see. WWDC, and then OS. You were talking about OS 9. It's looking like OS 10.10 will be coming out. At least announced. We'll see. Uh, but the mock-ups that I've seen are pushing it towards away from its iOS 6 look with the textured colors and everything that makes a Mac basically. They're gonna get
Right.
rid of. So we'll see how that turns out for them. I think it's going to be a transition just like iOS 6 to 7. Everything's going to look different. Everybody's going to hate it. Everybody's going to cry. And then 3 months later, everybody's going to buy iPhones and Macs again. And then the
Yep.
world will be in equilibrium.
Yeah, I think after everyone finally figures out that the world is in fact not come to an end because El Jobso's love child, changed everything up. I think everything will be okay again, and the Four Horsemen can ride off and sit for another 4,000 years.
Yeah, definitely. Then other than that, I don't. They were talking about new MacBooks, but I can't see that. And then
I don't see it happening either. I mean, they just updated the MacBook, Air,
yeah,
not too
they
long
were talking
ago.
about putting a regular display in a MacBook Air, but other than that, that might have its own event. Uh, iPhone 6 is definitely not going to be a WWDC, so
No,
we're holding out for that. Get that out of your head because that's going to have its own event, like it always does.
it's going to have its own big thing.
Yep.
It's like it's going to be that last one, one more thing.
Yep.
So,
And then
it will have its own event, though. I'm sure of that.
at the very very end. For WWDC, I think that's all. Apple always pulls stuff out of their armpit and says, "Oh,
At the very last minute, too.
yeah,
Oh, hey, by the way, we're thinking of this too. So.
yeah, exactly." And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that's the iWatch. That they'll pull the iWatch out from behind their back, and it won't be $600. That's my goal.
Come on now, Evan. It's Apple. It's going to be at least $600, especially if it's a wearable.
Yep. What can you do?
Which
Apple.
You can't do anything about that. It's Apple,
No. Let's see. Oh, this one's your favorite. Well,
Oh boy.
favorite is subjective. I want to bring up the Google X self-driving car, and I'm going to get a screen capture up here.
Go for it, man.
For those who have not seen it, it is this self-driving car by Google, and it's got this ugly face on it, and me and Nate agree that it's a glorified golf cart.
Stupid is what it is.
So I'm gonna let Nate elaborate here.
Effectively, what it is basically, for those of you who don't know what Google X is, it's Google's secret lab that's almost as secretive as Area 51, except we can actually prove that Google X exists. We can prove that Area 51 exists, but you might get shot for that one. So anyway, this self-driving car, they've been testing prototypes and stuff for a while now, and this is no secret. I've been against them the whole way, simply for the fact that is humanity at its finest, effectively giving up the ghost and saying, "Oh, by the way, we're lazy and we don't want to learn how to drive properly." And never mind, and then they come out with this stupid thing, which is a golf cart with a roll cage, some plastic, and 16-inch wheels with no controls. There's no secondary controls for anyone to drive, to steer with, to brake, stop, accelerate. None of it. There's no actual gauges in this stupid thing. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like the idea of one giant company that has no interest in cars whatsoever, except for the driverless car, obviously, street view, and things like that. They've got no interest in it. So who was it? Was it Eric Schmidt? I think it might have been. He said that the fact that cars were invented before computers is a bug. That says enough right there that effectively what they're trying to do is take every last bit of control from humankind.
Yeah, I want to show you this image. I just found this. Let's see. It says this is what you'll see while you drive along the road in your Google car. These ads, what is called my Google? It's got Google Plus, all this good
That's
stuff.
awesome. It's got Chevron, which, ironically enough, if that car is electric, Chevron is going to be entirely pointless.
And Chevron's going to
because
be
they're going to be completely irrelevant at that point because they're a petroleum company.
exactly,
So,
and it's
you know,
not
hell.
opposed to their ad being on an electric car. Yeah,
I
so
have a very hard time believing they'd ever fall for that.
no. And I'm with you on this whole driverless thing. It's like the whole it's like when they started making automatic cars, which people don't want to learn to drive a stick. That's fine, whatever. But
Yeah, I'm okay
a
with
lot of
that.
companies just stop. Yeah, it's just like they just stop making them. And so I hope that's not the way of actual automakers. I hope that this is just a Google thing, and then that next week we don't find out that Ford is only going to make cars that just have seats and a back.
Exactly. With nothing in front of them. Except for radio
Exactly.
controls. You got to have those. Now, full disclosure, I personally am an automotive purist. I like as little distractions in my car as humanly possible.
Right.
Save for a CD player and air conditioning, I want nothing else. I don't want power windows. I don't want power locks. I don't want a sunroof. I don't want any of that garbage. You know, there's so much crap that they're putting into cars these days. You know, the automatic transmission. If you don't want to learn to drive a stick, fine. There's plenty of automatics out there for you to learn how to drive. It's really easy to do. Literally, you put it in drive, you hit the pedal, you go. You're done.
Two pedals.
Exactly. Unless you count the third pedal as the emergency brake. So,
Right.
That said, I think it's dumb because people are just getting lazier and lazier and lazier as they drive. Driving itself is an art. You know, and sure, you learn how to do it in high school. Well, most people do. But it's one of those things where if you get lazy behind the wheel, it shows. People flip you the bird constantly. People are hollering at you, honking their horn, and you're just a nuisance on the road, and you end up hanging out in the left lane doing 45 and a 60. Those people piss me off.
Don't want to be that guy.
No. You do not want to be that guy because you will hear about it from me. And I'm not saying I've got road rage because I don't. It's just I have a very strident promoter of proper driving skills.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think I have road rage. I think I would put it more as I either have a low tolerance for bad driving or I have a high standard, basically.
Yeah. I would call it a high standard.
Yeah.
Don't drive like a moron. We don't have to have driverless cars.
And if you look at it that way, I don't even think I have a high standard because I don't think it's too much to ask to say don't cut me off in traffic.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Anymore, though, it's one of those things where it's almost like you graduate high school, and it doesn't matter if you actually learn how to drive or not. You're just automatically given a driver's license.
Pretty much.
So for those people, I think a driverless car might be a good thing, provided they can program the driverless car to drive like the rest of the sane people that can drive and have a license.
Yeah, and
I still don't like that.
No, I don't either. I'm less concerned about people being lazy and more concerned about the fact that I have zero control over whether this car goes in the ditch right now.
Yep.
I'm at the complete mercy of this machine that I told it where I want to go, and if it wants to burst into flames, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Exactly. That scene from iRobot keeps popping into my head. You're experiencing a car accident. Like hell I am.
Yeah. I can't even deal with it. The video Google put out about it just creeped me out because they're just sitting there looking around, and my instinct is Get your hands on the wheel. Look at the road. But
Yeah,
a server in Google is driving that car
yeah,
at
that's
20 miles an
stupid.
hour.
I'm sorry, I don't like any bit of that.
No,
Not a single thing about it. Not a single thing about the driverless car, sponsored by Google,
yeah,
um,
exactly.
it just doesn't interest me in any way. As a
No,
matter of fact, I think I'd rather see that controlled like some people want to see guns controlled.
I completely agree. I guess we'll jump on the next one,
What
and
up?
this one is more comical. I want to pull the video,
Yeah.
but Intel has decided to jump into the wearables game, like Motorola and LG with their smartwatches, and they've decided that they're going to make shirts. I don't understand this. I'm trying to find a picture of someone demonstrating one. Here we go. Here it is.
It's a polo that says Intel,
It is a Intel
powered by
polo.
AMD.
I, let's see.
Don't mind me.
Okay. So here is the wearable shirt, which apparently might have, pedometers, EKG. All that doesn't matter. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the fact that Intel walked onto a stage, said, "We're going to make wearables," in which case 70% of that crowd probably said, "Oh, something you can wear," which may or may not mean a wearable electronic. People might just think a physical object that you can put on your body. And they said, a shirt. And they had to have been laughed off the stage. I would love to see the video of them getting laughed off the stage. No, wait, it's really cool.
No, seriously, this thing is actually the future.
Yeah, this is the future. Everyone's going to wear shirts in the future. You're going to be sorry.
And then there's that one quote from Carrie. They're all going to laugh at you.
Yes,
well, there
exactly.
You go. They all laughed at you.
I hope they did, because they walked on the stage and said, we guys are making wearable shirts. It is revolutionary. You're all going to die of excitement.
And everyone there is going, huh, that's different.
I've been doing this wrong.
My entire life. Where's my royalties at, damn it?
So, I guess I'll jump off that sidebar. I just thought that was hilarious. I guess the last thing that I had planned to talk about was the thing that I mistakenly earlier tried to say that Apple bought Beats 8 minutes ago, but what I was really thinking of in the back of my head was Steve Ballmer buying the Clippers 8 minutes ago. And normally, I love sports, but normally I wouldn't talk about the sports on something like this. But Steve Ballmer,
you kind of have to on this.
Yeah, exactly, because it's the best of both worlds for me anyway. Steve Ballmer, the retired CEO of Microsoft, who just retired like 2 months ago. This is a retirement present.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
So he just farted out $2 billion. And I'm buying the Clippers. I'm gonna buy this damaged franchise, and I'm gonna keep them in LA. Is what I read last night. I heard from Bill Simmons, and I also heard that they might be pretty much disenfranchising the whole thing and saying this is not the Clippers anymore. Spray painting over the Clippers logo, tearing out the court, whatever. Because every time someone hears the Clippers, they think, "Oh, that racist old guy, right?" Yeah, that's
right. They're all thinking Donald Sterling and Adam Silver.
Yep.
So
And so
it's one of those things they almost kind of have to do.
Yeah, there's no way around it, and it sucks that because Clippers, as far as I know, is culturally tied to the West Coast. Clipper ships is from what I know. So maybe they'll find something else. I don't know. Kind of like New Orleans, the Pelicans was really fitting, so they were able to find something that really worked. But hopefully they can do the same for LA.
Well, it's either they disenfranchise and get rid of everything that was from the Donald Sterling era, or it's like a bunch of senators trying to send a letter to the NFL about the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
Which, I'll be honest with you, there are some times where you just got to let shit go.
Yeah. And the difference for me is, I mean, I think if you're going to like some schools have been told not to use the word Braves, but there was actually a cultural group of people called the Braves. And then, I'm not big into the politics of it all, but if you're gonna make that a rule, then why let why let the Washington Redskins be the Redskins? Because that's a racial slur. I
It
don't know.
is.
I don't know. That's talk for a sports podcast. I guess that's not
And
what
I
we
don't
do.
think either one of us run one of those yet.
No, not yet. Maybe in the future. I do love sports. We'll see where life takes me.
I'm thinking about starting one about cars. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I think that's basically it. If you don't have any other topics to go over, I guess we'll wrap it up for this week.
Um, no, I think that's about it. I mean, other than some flashlight that I bought, but other than that, I'm done.
I agree with you. So I guess we'll call this a week. So
That sounds good to me. You
call it a
know,
week, and we will be back next week, and hopefully we will have a title. Right here, I'm saying that we have one viewer, so I hope that you enjoyed this.
hi one viewer. Hope you really enjoyed this.
Yes,
Um, I've surely enjoyed this.
I
It's
have enjoyed this, and I think that
for week one anyway.
exactly week one, it went smoothly. Whether people were watching or not, it went really smoothly. So
Hmm.
I think I'm going to do a little promotion. One viewer, if you would like to tell your friends about this, we'd love to have more people watching, and we will be back next week at this time on Thursday night, and we'll see you then. Peace.
Peace, folks.